Let's see. You see it on there? And there you go. Okay, so I'm down here in Virginia at my brother's. Let me turn this a little bit. There we go. We went ahead and we're working on his raised garden beds. He had, let me pull up the picture real quick. He had 2 of them. Of course, it's not going to work. There we go. So he had 2. We went ahead. We basically dug everything up. We placed these flat pavers underneath. Then we put everything back with some hardware cloth, and that is what we did. So we fixed them up. So he went from having 2 4-foot square raised garden beds to having 1 4-foot by 16 feet raised garden bed now. So with that, he went ahead and we put hardware cloth at the bottom because there's moles and voles that can dig underneath and get into the root system of the plants. So with putting this hardware cloth, that's going to eliminate that now. The raised garden bed being made out of the cinder blocks, he shouldn't have any problems with deterioration like wood. So he should be good for many years to come. We did almost like a hugelkultur. He had some chunks of wood, so we put that at the bottom, and we did straw. The straw is good because that's going to help to maintain and retain water. So in the summer you should have to water less frequently. But it's organic material, so the worms and the water and everything's going to break it down. So his level is going to drop by the fall and spring of next year. So we'll have to add more compost, and what we did was a Mel's mix, which was peat moss, vermiculite, and compost. So he could do that again as a topper. So while I'm down here, I already have them pepper plants that I did. So if you see right here, he actually has artichokes, and then I'm just starting to see some sprouts come up from the peppers. So that's pretty cool. So all he has to do is just maintain giving it a little water. And then this is the red savinas that we planted up in Delaware. I brought him down 4 plants. So hopefully he can go ahead and actually get, you know, a few peppers. Or I've picked up a bunch of seeds, and I'm going to quick plant them in this tray. I don't know if I'll be able to angle it down enough. There we go. We picked up, there's 6 cells, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So should be 72 total cells, the tray. So I'm going to start planting some seeds. If anybody gets on, I got my phone on, so hopefully I can see the comments. And I'm going to start planting. So if you got any questions, throw it down below. So, first thing we're going to go with is the green leaf lettuce. I'm also going to leave him some of these seeds so he can actually direct sow into his garden too. But we're getting them started, so hopefully he can get some starts planted, and then if he needs more, he can always add some more seeds. I have the name tags, if you could write it down. Green leaf lettuce, and then I'll put it in there. Next one's going to be the noble spinach. Now I actually have giant noble spinach from the Dollar Tree too. And for the most part, seeds are cheap, so I'm throwing at least 2 in each hole. So it should help to ensure them some decent germination.
Is any of these plants you would not recommend not planting next to each other? Any of these plants you would recommend not planting next to each other?
My brother was just asking if there's any plants that you wouldn't want to plant next to each other. Pretty much the seeds that I have right now, they should all play nice with each other. It's what I'm planting right now for them is the spinach, the lettuce, kales. So there shouldn't be any real issue with that. Things you would need to watch is like your peas and your beans, planting beets right next to them. So I do have beets for them, so I will reiterate that to him. Hopefully, if this is how his garden's looking, I told him to plant, say, the peas out here, so you wouldn't want to plant beets right next to it. You'd want them kind of far away. And far away in terms of garden, I would say at least, 3 to 4 feet. If it was within a foot, I would say that would be too close.
It says Bud's backyard in the chat.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Bud? So, this one here, this is the Dino Kale. It's Lacinito. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it goes by Tuscany kale, Italian kale, Dino Kale. So
It said listening to my blues playlist.
Okay. Okay, break that one for me. Thank you. Yeah, so I was excited to find this, the Dino Kale or the Italian Kale. I've seen many people growing it, and it always looks beautiful. And last year my brother grew the dwarf kale, and then also I grew, shoot, I can't think of the variety of kale that I grew. But it both did very well. So this was the free pack of seeds that I got from Baker Creek Seeds, This is going to be the Red Russian or the Ragged Jack. There you go. Dwarf Blue Curled Kale. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to need both those packs because I have some extra seeds over here. Thank you. Okay. So, come on, baby. I think if I do it again, I'm going to have a pair of scissors. But we'll make it work. So, and like I said, seeds are cheap. I'm throwing 2 or 3 in each cell so we can hope to ensure good germination. And all I'm doing is lightly tapping, making sure that the seeds are covered with soil, and then when we go ahead and after I'm all done, I'm going to water everything in real well. So these were peas that I grew, so I'm going to do a few for him, and then I have peas that I picked up from the store too. And as you can see, some people say to soak the peas. We're just going to go ahead and plant. He has enough time that if they do germinate poorly, we can he can get more planted. But I've heard mixed scenarios that people have soaked them and it didn't do well. People haven't soaked them and it didn't do well. People have soaked them and it did great. And people haven't soaked them and it did great. So this is another little experiment. It's always good to try a couple different things out so you can see what's working. And what's cool is the seeds from the store and the seeds that I grew look exactly the same. So if you could mark 2 tags, one just peas and then one peas 2020, I'll put the 2020 on mine. Peas 2020. Okay. Next one's going to be this Boston Bib Lettuce. Okay, beautiful. We'll go with broccoli next. So I brought my brother down some broccoli that I did start, but just to make sure everything goes well and he has a decent harvest, we're going to throw a couple more in there just so he can try to make sure he's got a good bunch for his wife and his new daughter. She's going to be 5 months old, so pretty soon she's going to start trying some food, some solid food. So, well, they'll have to mash it up for the beginning part, but hopefully by the end of the summer she can be snacking on a couple things. And then we got leaf lettuce.
Bud said, my sycamore tree is blooming and my tree that I can't remember the name that blooms is starting to pop out leaves.
Oh, sweet. My brother actually, that's great to hear, Bud. My brother actually picked up a couple fruit trees. Unfortunately, this time I didn't get a chance to help him plant them, so hopefully the next time I come down, they're already planted. He picked up 2 apple, 2 pear, and 2 peach trees. So he's in Virginia. So hopefully they can start getting established before the heat starts cranking up. We got some cabbage, pak choi, Pakchoi.
Here's a question, how many different...
And, come on, there's multiple types of shelling peas. Some they have, and then different colors. So, I know they have like a maroon variety, and I want to say there's a blue variety also. When you go ahead and you get the different color peas, that all they won't. If you have a burgundy variety or a purple variety, when you cook it, it will not stay that color. It will go back to green when cooked.
Bud said, the freeze killed a lot of things. I hope my plumerize are still alright.
Yeah, Bud, you're in Texas, I believe, right?
And then I have a lemon tree. How long until lemons arrive?
Ooh, that's a good one. I know, like the Myers lemon tree, it tends to be a little quicker because, well, too, it depends what area you're in. I know in...
This was a Delaware question.
In the South, it happens a little quicker. For Delaware, where I'm from, it's 7A, so you may be able to get some probably by the second year, but you will need to bring the lemon tree inside. It will not make it through our winter outside. Areas like actually probably even further south than my brother in Virginia, you're going to have to go possibly Georgia, and then even the northern part of Florida. You probably have to wrap it especially if frost is coming, to help make sure it survives through the that frost. It's Swiss chard is that next one. Okay. Next ones are going to be the tomatoes. So do a cherry tomato for me, then it'll be a brandywine and aroma. Actually, I'll do the aroma first because it's still in my hand. This one here's aroma tomato, so that one's going to be more like kind of for your sauce. The brandywine is a beefsteak tomato, so that's going to be more like your slicer for your sandwiches. And then the other variety that I have is a cherry tomato, which is seeds that I saved from my garden.
It says lemon trees are 2 to 3 years. Buds.
Yeah. Yep. Cherry tomato will be next. Yeah. I know, like I said, Bud ended up getting some crazy weather down his way. Because down in that Texas area, they got kind of slammed with that storm. And we get, on our news up here, they talk about it, saying, people are still out of power, and pipes froze, and
Bud said I had a bitter orange that came up on its own. It looks bad because of the big freeze, but the bark is still green. I hope it makes it. It was good in my barbecue.
Okay, yeah. And then, oh yeah, we see Bud, he does like some backyard cooking.
Like smoking.
And barbecue, yeah. He does fish. And then I know up here, Bud, we use, hickory wood. I do like apple, pecan,
Yep,
peach, cherry. Yep. They all do a good job with when we're smoking our meats. Okay, I got 2 more spots for you, but I'll have to figure out a couple of the other ones that I got for you. Straighten up. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen, deconstructed them, took all the soil out, and built the bed twice as long now. And then put compost, put the material from his other 2 beds back into it, and then I made him up a good mix. It's called a Mel's Mix from Square Foot Gardening, Mel Bartholomew. It was consistent of vermiculite, peat moss, and compost. Mixed that all together, added water, and then topped everything a nice 4 to 6 inches on top with all that. So it turned out really nice for him. Then what we did, he didn't have any like mulch or anything like that, and the grass clippings he has, you don't want to put them in your garden. He has Bermuda grass, so anything that's a living piece of that grass, as soon as it roots, it's going to spread and take over. So no grass for him. He does have some trees, so he can put some leaves on top in the fall. But what he did is he stopped by Home Depot, and they had black. I don't want. It almost kind of reminded me of like a tarp type material. So we stretched that out over top of the garden bed for now, so he can cut holes or X's and fold the material back. Basically, I was explaining to him, and if anybody else doesn't know, you do not want to have just bare soil. Bare soil will basically be degraded by the sun. The sun's rays are radioactive, from the star that's out in our solar system here. So when that hits the soil, it basically is taking essentially all the living life off the top. That's why you need grass, you need some type of mulch or some type of covering. So this is his covering for now. What I'm starting to do in my garden, I used to use either the tarp or the black fabric material, the garden fabric. I'm kind of getting away from that. I mean, I may use it here and there, but for the most part, I'm going with either wood chips or my grass clippings, which is basically like a tall fescue rye type mix. So there's no real chance of it kind of growing inside the garden once it's cut. And one thing that you could do with grass is let it sit out a little bit, dry up, become brown, and then bring it in and use it then. Well, that's about it for today. I don't know if anybody has any other questions real quick. If so, you can ask it. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. If not, we'll call it a good day. We got the bed done, so that's one thing off our plate. We still have some strawberries that I'll see about planting tomorrow with them. And then I'll just have him, focus on watering the tray, making sure that that's good to go. So he'll be ready to plant shortly out in his garden. Okay.
Heidi said, "How's the pepper?"
Said, "How's the pepper?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, the peppers that I planted for him have germinated well. I had it out here earlier. Here's the red savinas. So what I did is I explained to my brother too. Peppers, your tomatoes, they don't mind being transplanted. So he has two bigger ones here, and I have him some more of these containers. So I told him, let them get a little bit taller, maybe start getting their true leaves. As soon as that happens, he can start transplanting them out, and then leave these other two just to stay in there. This is the pepper seed that we were growing when we had a hot sauce business back from like 1996 to 2008. So I was very pleased that these came up. And then before I came down, I sowed in some seeds. These are artichokes. And then if you can see some, oh, come on. There's one there. And we have some more there. They're starting to germinate and starting to break the soil. So I'm very happy about that. A lot of these I planted for them. A few are hot peppers, but for the most part they're green bell peppers. I picked up from that, I can't remember the name of the place, the Holler Homestead. I picked up violet sparkle pepper. That's a bell pepper. So I planted them, two of those, so hopefully they germinate and he can get those peppers. So, well, thank you for stopping by. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night, because with this time change, I gotta leave at about 8:30 tomorrow with my mom and my grandfather to head back up to Delaware. So, but thank you guys all for stopping by and checking it out.